Greetings. My name is Phil Chenevert, and it is June the 29th, 2024, and this is Bits and Pieces about my life. I was born in 1940. I'm 83 years old today. Well, not today, but Um, this part is about trash in New Orleans. Trash, yes. When I was about 5 years old, my father bought a hardware store in New Orleans at 3232 South Carrollton Avenue. It was a small neighborhood store. It was called Carrollton Hardware. But this is about trash, meaning as a 5-year-old boy, when we moved there, it was a whole new world to me. And the trash in New Orleans was picked up by a mule team with these open wagons behind them. They were like sloped wagons, and maybe 8, 10 wagons. I don't know how many they had, but the mule team would come by the front of our grocery store, our hardware store, our grocery store, and the men would pick up these old metal cash cans and dump them into these open containers. Um, and they would run around. They would moving fast because I'm assuming that once they got through their run, so they could go home. And they would grab them and they would dump them and they would throw the cans down. Now, my father, being a hardware store owner, got lots of boxes in with putty and paint and all kind of nails and things. And so we had to get rid of these boxes. And part of my job as a little boy was to learn how to open them up, fold them really nicely so that the garbage men would accept them. In other words, you put them in neatly and carefully, and they would be happy with you. Uh, I'm assuming that if they weren't happy with you, they would throw that can 100 yards away. Um, so my father had a good relationship with these people. We carefully packed everything we had into, I think we had like three garbage cans. They were dented. I can remember them. I mean, just be dented beyond belief. And you didn't want new ones because people would take them. So your old garbage cans, they would come by, they would grab, and they would be. I can remember watching the mule train would come by, and you could hear them, of course, obviously because them throwing the garbage cans back, but they were also talking and singing and doing all kind of things while they were working. Uh, it was They had a routine. So that was it. I'm going to talk to you that the mules that we used to pull these wagon trains, who knows? They may have had 10 or 15 like this going all over the city of New Orleans, bringing the trash, and I'm sure they brought them to a dump somewhere. Those mules were the ones used for Mardi Gras. Yes. They would hitch them up to the parade floats, drag them down, and I'd go downtown or wherever the parade was, and I'd stand there watching the floats go by, and the mules would go by, and of course, the poor bands that would walk behind them, the mules, they had men with scraping scraping up the mule droppings. So that's here you New Orleans in the 1950s, probably 40s rather, 40s. I think it probably lasted until I was about 9 or 10 years old that they would come by and do that. Thank you very much. Bits and pieces. If anybody's interested, that happened, I would say, between 1945 and 1949, somewhere up in there. Trash in New Orleans. Wonderful.